Welcome back to the Resiliency Class, Session 6. I'm your coach, Esmeralda, and I can't believe we're almost done with this class, you guys. Just one more class to go. We have covered so much ground together over the last 6 classes, managing your thoughts, doing activities, talking about building a healthy social support network, learning how to communicate better with others. And I truly hope that by now you are starting to feel empowered to overcome, the feelings of low mood or depression that may have been holding you back when you first started watching these videos. So I'm really excited to continue with today's session where we are going to look forward to your future and creating your own personal goals for what that future is going to be, what you want to accomplish in your life. And so let's get to it. So let's talk about why goals matter so much for resilience. Many problems in life can take away your motivation, right? When you're feeling down and dealing with stress or low mood, it's really easy to lose your sense of purpose. And so you might wake up thinking, what's the point of setting goals or trying hard, if I'm just feeling miserable? But the good news is that when you set goals, it gives you that purpose and that, you know, um, ability to look forward to your future. Goals help you organize your energy, they help you focus and connect you to what matters the most to you. Goals can really give meaning to your life. And so if you've already have a set of goals in mind, you can choose those that you want to focus on first. And if you don't have goals at this time, then we can start by looking at your personal values. So, values are general principles or personal guidelines, right? These are the things that are meaningful to you, right? So, ask yourself, what is it that I value? What is it that really matters to me? And this could be your family. You might value helping other people, your own personal growth, which is why I'm so glad that you've been watching this class and these videos. Maybe you are somebody that really values financial freedom and security in your finances. Maybe your health is really important to you. I think all of us should really prioritize our health. Or maybe you're somebody that really values creativity and art and music, things like that. So your values think of them like a compass that help guide you in the direction that you want to go in, right? So your goals are the destination on your map, but your values are that compass, right? They're that North Star that you are going to be following. And working towards your goals will definitely help you to feel better. So, really be thinking about what are the things that you want to achieve in your life. It's never too late to set goals, right? And so, I want to talk you through a couple of steps that you can actually work on to start helping you set goals. And I do want you to think about long-term goals, right? The things that you can look forward to maybe like 5 to 10 years from now, but also the short-term goals, which are things that you can accomplish next week, next month, in the next year, right? So we want to think about our long-term goals first and then see what we need to do in the short term to help get us to those long-term goals. So here's a couple of different examples of, values that you may have and some examples of short-term and long-term goals that you might set, based on your values. So for example, if you are somebody that really values family, you may say, my long-term goal is to build really close relationships with my immediate and extended family. That's a long-term forever goal. But in the short term, in order to help you achieve that long-term goal, you might be very intentional about setting, family dinners, maybe 5 nights a week, right? Or maybe you are very purposeful about attending your children's sports events or games, maybe performances that they're involved in, or you help to organize birthday parties, just doing activities that help you build those relationships so that in the long term, you do achieve that ultimate goal that you have. So I encourage you to look in the guidebook. There's a lot of different examples like these to just give you some ideas of how you might think about long-term versus short-term goals. So here I want to guide you through as you're coming out of this low mood and depression, it's so important that you start to dream again, right? And think about like, what are your dreams for the future? What are the things that you want to work towards that, you know that once you accomplish those goals and your dreams, that you are just going to feel amazing and accomplished, right? And so I'm going to walk you through a couple of different steps that you can take that will help you set your goals for the future. So the first thing is, like I said, start by setting a long-term goal and make it meaningful to you, right? Don't focus on anybody else's goals. This has to be specifically what you want to achieve in your lifetime. And if it's something that doesn't matter to you personally, you're just not going to stick with it, right? So it's really helpful to set a goal that you want to accomplish and also that causes you to do something instead of not doing something. For example, it's easier to eat more vegetables than it is to stop eating junk food, right? So think of it from the perspective of what can you do versus I want to stop doing this, right? It'll be much easier if you look at it that way. The second step is to make sure that your goal is realistic. Some of us sometimes have some really ambitious pie in the sky goals that are really, really hard to achieve or that just are outside of the reality of our lives, right? So, yes, I want you to dream really big, but also start with what's actually possible given your circumstances. So, for example, you might want to travel to outer space on a spaceship to Mars, but that's very highly unlikely in your lifetime, right? So, you have to choose something that is possible and that is right for you. Working within the money that you have, give yourself a deadline for when you want to start the goal and a date by when you want to accomplish your goal. So that's the second step. The third step is to be specific. And so instead of saying, I want to get healthier, you know, maybe you have to start by saying, okay, I'm going to try walking 20 minutes for three times a week, 3 days a week, right? You have to be very specific on when, what you're going to do, how much of it you're going to do, where you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. So write down as many details as you can that are related to that specific goal that you want to achieve. Step 4 in this process is to make sure that your goal is something that's within your control that you can manage yourself, right? Because we have already talked about this before. You can't control what other people do or how they feel, but you can control your own actions and your own feelings. So if you do what you set out to do for yourself, then you will have reached your goal, whether or not other people behave the way that you want them to, right? This is all on you. It's your vision, your dreams, your goals that you will be able to accomplish because they're within your control to do them, right? The next step in this process is to break your goal into smaller steps, right? When you set really big long-term goals, it can feel complicated, overwhelming, like really hard to achieve because it's big, right? And sometimes it can just be many years away for you to be able to achieve that goal. But if you break it down into smaller steps, this can help it feel way more manageable. It makes your work easier and less stressful, And it's also easier to see your progress, right? That you're making towards your goals when you're taking one small step at a time. So make sure that you break that down. And I want you to, again, think of your goals in two different time frames. Where do you want to be in a year or more? That would be like a long-term goal, maybe 5, 10 years from now. Even then, that could be a long-term goal. And then what are the things that you can accomplish in the next week, in the next month, even in the next hour? Like, what is a very simple, practical action you can take right now that will help you get closer to your goals? And that would be your short-term goal. For example, let's say that your long-term goal is that you want to have a job that you're excited about. In the short term, you might say, okay, I'm going to take this online class that's related to my career interests, right? And so you would take steps to start researching what classes are available. This week you start going in and looking at what classes you can sign up for, and you choose one by next Friday before the weekend, and you sign up by the end of the month. So again, set the goal and then work backwards from that goal to say, okay, what practical steps can I start taking towards achieving that goal? So, step 6 in this process, like I said, is to set that short term goal, one that is going to help get you closer to your long term goal. And here's something really crucial that I want you guys to also remember is that if you don't achieve your goal on the date or time or schedule that you set for yourself, you haven't failed, right? Don't give up. You have to give yourself credit for trying. Remember that you're trying to build your resilience and you're getting out of this rut that you've been kind of stuck in with this low mood and feeling down and depressed. And so give yourselves credit for trying, and also look at it as you're learning something valuable about what it actually takes for you to take the next step forward towards your goal, and know that you can always adjust your approach, right? Like maybe you underestimated what it was going to take to achieve that short-term goal. So you might have to take a quick step back and reevaluate. And again, go back to the steps that I reviewed here of making sure that you're being realistic with the goal and how much time, money, and effort is needed for you to achieve that goal, and then just start over again, right? Learn from that and just know that the goal isn't to be perfect, it's for you to make progress, right? Because none of us are perfect. We're going to make mistakes along the way. We're not going to get it right the first time. And so just do not give up. Never give up on your goals, okay? It's so important that we keep, reaching for our dreams and trying to accomplish the things that we know we can do it. You can do it. I really believe you can do it. So don't give up. And then lastly, when you do reach that goal, don't forget to celebrate your wins. And, even if it's a small little accomplishment, celebrate it. Give yourself that pat on the back, and make sure that when you do complete a step or you've reached that final goal that you set, acknowledge it, tell other people, celebrate it, make it public because you've earned it. And, celebrating your successes just helps you, it helps fuel your success, right? Because you've proven to yourself that you could set a goal and you could achieve it. So think of like how much more you could do if you just stayed focused and you worked on one step at a time and just didn't give up. Never give up on your goals. So this week, I want you to, take some time to really think about your values. Again, what are the things that matter the most to you in life? Forget all the noise and all the, fuss and just drama and toxicity that might be around you. Like, leave all of that stuff out and really think about what matters to me. What do I care about? Who do I care about? What are the things that I want to be important in my life? And then once you identify those things, look at, what are my goals? What are the things that I want to achieve based on those values? And think of it as, what is my long-term goal in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? What do I want to accomplish? And then what are those short-term goals today, tomorrow, this week, next month that I can start to work towards to help me achieve that goal? And so there is a worksheet in the companion manual for the class where you can um, just write down, make it real, and there's an outline in here where you can complete your long-term and your short-term goal. And here's an example where, you know, once once you identify what is it that I want to do, when am I going to do it, when am I going to start, how much or how little am I going to do towards that goal, where are you going to, work on this, and then how are you going to do it? So the who, what, when, where, why, all of those questions will be good for you to think about and answer as you set your goals. And just remember that, you have the power to shape your future one goal and one step at a time. So I really want to encourage you to dream big. Think back to when you were younger. What were the things that you wanted to do and achieve, and kind of make yourself that bucket list that, you may have heard about of, what are the things that you want to do in life while you're still young, healthy, even if you're a little older in age, what are the things that you always wanted to do that you haven't been able to do? Maybe it's a conversation you've been wanting to have with somebody that you really love. Maybe it's reading a book or visiting a place that you really love. Get creative and again, think about, you know, ways that you can practically work towards achieving those goals. So go for it. I'm hoping to hear from some of you in the comments of like, what are the goals that you set for yourself? And please share if you were able to accomplish those goals. I would love to hear your success stories and what you did and how you celebrated your wins. So go for it. Um, so for today's key messages, today's session was probably a little shorter than the other ones because it's really just about, you know, going for your goals. And so today we talked about how goals give meaning to our lives. And in order to feel good, it's helpful to have those daily reasons to enjoy your life, right? Which is your values, and something that you can look forward to, which is your short term and your long term goals. And knowing that you can reach your long term goals by setting those shorter term goals and working towards accomplishing them in those small steps. So make sure you go back and look at the outline of the step by steps that I suggest. And know that by setting your goals and doing activities, you can shape your future and make it beautiful, make it what you want it to be. And even if you don't reach your goals, make sure that you give yourself credit for trying and never, ever, ever give up on your dreams because we only get one life. And so go for it, go for the gold, go for your, all of your dreams and wishes and goals, and maybe share it with someone. Maybe there's someone out there that can actually help open doors of opportunity for you, that might be willing to help you in your journey to achieving those goals. So go for it. Make sure you tap into your social support network, and I'm sure that they will come together to help you get there. So make sure that you click on the link in the description below for the session so that you can download the Resiliency Class workbook for today's session 6. And you'll be able to pull up some of the worksheets that I showed, and you can complete some of the practice items. I hope that you guys have continued to track your mood week after week to see if you're improving, or if there's maybe some days where you still feel a little low. And remind yourself to practice the different skills and tools that I've talked to you about when it comes to your harmful thoughts, when it comes to engaging in pleasant activities, and tapping on that social support network, working on your communication so that you can ask for help when you need it. And today, like I said, if you're really truly starting to feel that your mood has lifted and you're feeling more resilient, I hope that now you can actually start to look at the future and how bright and beautiful it is ahead for you. So if you find today's session helpful, please like this video, subscribe to the channel so that you get updates on the new videos that I post every week. And if you know somebody that would also benefit from this information, please share it with them. I look forward to having you all join session 7 of the class, where you will be celebrating your resiliency, which means we're going to have a graduation. And so, if you have watched all 7 of the videos by next session, and if you would like me to email you a personalized certificate of completion of this resiliency class that has your name on it and it'll have my signature on it, please be sure that you complete the graduation form with your contact information, and I'll have a link to that in the description. You will also be able to receive a copy of my bounce back worksheet with easy reminders of how you can be resilient. And there will also be newsletters and invitations to future events that I will be hosting and offering via live webinars. I love the opportunity to get to meet those of you that have been following my channel and my videos to learn about your journey with depression, and hopefully hear some testimonials about how the information that I've shared with you guys so far, how it may have helped you. I would love to get feedback. I would love to hear your stories one-on-one or in a group. So I'm really looking forward to bringing those events together and having you join me there. So until the next time, take care of yourselves. And again, thank you so much for continuing on this journey of your resilience and improving your mood. Have a wonderful week. Take care.